Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about Gemma 3 and Vertex AI model, and this is going to be the most expensive video I ever made for YouTube. Definitely. It cost me around £2,000 to make this video. So it's not going to be an ordinary video like the rest of them, because the rest of my video, you have code examples, you have fully tutorial how to do stuff. Here, you don't going to get it. You're just going to hear about my mistakes. Because, wait, before I'm saying you what's the reason, I want you to see this sticker. I got it on my last visit in Boston, okay? So the reason this video is so expensive is because I'm an idiot. And I'm going to show you today how much I'm an idiot. Well, you already know how much it cost me, but I just want to show you how much I'm an idiot and how much sometimes we do make mistakes. It's not always perfect. So I don't think I should always show you the path to success. Let's just see also what happened when things went wrong and how we can avoid them. So just learn from my mistakes. So it all started in Paris. I was invited to Google announcements of Gemma 3. It was, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago by now. And the event was amazing. I don't know if you heard about it. So let's just go like a quick one over Gemma 3 and the announcements. So Gemma 3 is the open model by Google. Not like Gemini, this is supposed to be smaller and could run on device. That's the big advantage. It's also open, so you can actually train it better and create something amazing out of it. So the model comes in a few different sizes. Then it comes in Gemma 2. So we have 1 billion, 4 billion, 12 billion, and 27 billion. And if you're going through the announcements, so yeah, of course, it's a bit faster, better, and all the rest. 140 languages. I know it's a huge success for the team. I care about it less because I only use English, but well, languages is good. And I'm very happy that other people could actually use it and create multi-languages solution and tools. What was really interesting for me is that the ability to have in this model and not like in a separate model, the option to input text and images at the same time for a window token of 128,000 tokens, which is like huge. Now I know we have Gemini with 1 billion and 2 million windows, but this is, remember, this is a model that could run on device. And this is like, I think that really opened my mind when I was listening to it. I said, oh, wow, I have so many ideas what to do with this. And then they continue with the announcements. I'm not going to go over all of it, but oh yeah, but one thing for sure, function calling, structure output, which is great. And also this is, I think, the most important part. The 27 billion model could run on a single GPU. And this is crazy. So I thought myself, wait, I know exactly what I want to do with it. If you remember my last video, I showed you how to do an OCR to PDF with Gemini 2.0 Flash Lite. And I said, let's just compare between them, because technically with all the announcements, I could get images into my model and I can use structured data to get everything out. So I could probably do the same thing. And if you remember right, I already have it inside a benchmark, so I can compare it to different type of libraries. So I said, that could be a nice project. Once I come back from Paris, probably I should do that. And that's exactly what I did. The only problem I did it on the same day I came back, or actually the day after. So I thought, how should I display it to you? How should I show you how to do it? Now, the most obvious thing is to go to places like Hugging Face or to go to AI Studio and just to run the model and show you the results, and that will be done. But I said, no, I want to do something special. I want to do something that most of the YouTubers don't do. And that's to deploy this model on model gardens inside Vertex AI. And I can definitely understand why most of the demonstrations that you see online are not going to that specific case, because this is usually the case for the heavy artillery. We're going to take like few H100 GPU, put it on my account, and then run the model. It's really heavy lifting here. And most of the time, you don't need it. You can definitely use some other solution for most of the time. But I said, yeah, that's going to be so awesome to do it. So that's what I did. So I went to Vertex AI, I opened the model garden, I searched for the card of Gemma 3. And in here, you have all the details that you need to do in order to deploy it. You can actually start playing with the model a little bit, and you have a notebook that shows you exactly how to deploy and how to work with it. And you can see the code. Everything is here, the license, documentation, whatever you need. And the obvious thing for me to do is, of course, to deploy it. So I click deployed. You have two options to deploy it on Model Garden. You can do it either on Vertex AI or go to Kubernetes. I want the simplest way to do it, so I'm going with Vertex AI. It means it will work, everything will work great, but I have less option to change and tune what I need, which of course in Kubernetes you have full control about everything. So Vertex AI is good enough for me. Click on Vertex AI, and now I have to choose which model I want to use. And instead of starting from the small model, which I should do when I'm doing benchmark, I decided, no, let's just go full in, 27 billion. That's the model I chose. I already have all the things. I chose the basic one. And this is something that you need to understand. Each region has different computers on it, okay, on the cloud. So I wanted to choose the H100. And for that, I had to select specific area, specific region to do it. And on the region, when you're selecting it, you also need to make sure that you have a quota. So if you won't have a quota, it will just pop here a button that said, okay, now you need to get the quota for it. As you can see, I already have quota of 4 because that's the minimum required, which is a little bit of strange because on the announcement, they said that you need only 1, but I said, never mind, let's get 4. Once you will click on it, it will take you to another page of the quota. You're clicking some buttons and you're saying that you want 4, and that will send you an email that will tell you that in 3 to 5 days, working days, you should get the approval for that. I got it back in 3 to 5 minutes, which is probably, if that would take me days, that could probably save me some money, but no, it's come after a few minutes. I said, hey, great, let's just continue doing that. So once I got the quota, I came back here, I set it up, and I hit deploy, which I'm not going to do now. I already know the cost. And once you're doing the deploy, there's other steps. You need to create an endpoint, and you need to deploy the model onside the endpoint. Eventually, and this is like straightforward, step-by-step doing, eventually you get this deployment on your account, and everything is ready to go. Now, as you already know me, I don't like to do stuff on Colab. I want to do it on my environment to show you that you can actually do it in other places, not only inside the GCP, nice, cozy places when every component knows other components and you already have the credentials for everyone. So I did, of course, wanted to do it on my computer. So I went down here. I already have the code from the last video. So I said, okay, let's start a new session, Gemma 3. First of all, let's get the credentials, so a service account, and my plan was to explain to you how you can create a service account and how you can get the JSON file with the key and how to do the credential. And then once you get the credential, you can go to you need to init it, and I put here the project ID and the location, and everything was fine. And then I looked at all the endpoints that I got for this environment, for this init, and you see that I had one resource ready for me. That was the deployment that I did before. And at that point, I just created this endpoint, so it will be easiest to work with. And I tried a very simple prompt, just, what is UK? Okay, and of course I got an answer, and the answer also included a URL for Google Map, which was very nice. So I said, okay, fine. And I took one of the example code from Google, which showing how to send image with text. So that's their code as is. I send it. I got an answer, the description, and 2 sentences of this image. So, okay, that's working. That's great. Now let's put the PDF inside. Now, if you remember from last video, I don't like to store my PDF because I'm already doing some kind of working on the PDF, but I do have the base 64 of the PDF. And when you're working with Gemini, you can actually give that. So you don't need to store it and then say the link to Gemini. You can just put it already all the data inside the prompt and send it. Something that you cannot do with Gemma. And Gus, if you're listening to this, this is an official feature request. Please edit. So once I understand that, I said, okay, no problem. Let me just find a library that converting PDF to images, and I can then just send the image. I will store it on Google Store, of course, and then I will give the model the URL, and that will be done, right? Great. At that point, I got an email with an alert about a different project in production that had some problem. Now, this is Saturday. Usually I'm not working on Saturday, but that was production. I said, okay, I will give it a shot. I will go there and see what's going on. So I left this code and I went to the production. 3 hours later, everything was fixed. Everything was done. I was very happy. End of the day, I did my walk outside. I ate my dinner, went to sleep, woke up Sunday morning. been all day with my family, great time. Monday morning, I'm waking up, starting to do my work, and then I'm looking through my emails and I see an alert about the budget of my project. And in my mind, I was like, have like a second that says, wait, did I release those 4H100? Oh no, I didn't. I didn't release them. So I was holding for the entire weekend those machines on my account, which cost me money, of course. So I ran to GCP, and the first thing I did was going to the billing area. Now, I love GCP. I have nothing bad to say about GCP. But if there is an hell inside GCP, that's the billing area. I really hate it. I always get confused. I never know exactly which bills go to which project and what I'm charging right now. This is like a nightmare. Now, I know I should spend time to learn it. I know when I'm speaking with my friends, they know exactly how to manage it. I just didn't spend enough the time to learn it. So I went there and I remembered that I had a budget. And if you can see in here, this is my first mistake. So I already learned in the past, I already been an idiot before with a different project that cost me much less, but you need to have a budget for every project that you're running. It doesn't matter if it's testing or like production, always have a budget. And in the budget, you can also set different percentage to get email alerts. And I did get the email alerts. Everything was working fine. But at that point, if you can see the limit that I put for it, it's 200 pounds. Now you can ask yourself, well, but you said that you spent 2,000 pounds, more than 2,020 and 200 pounds. How can that be? Well, here's my second mistake. You see those checkboxes over here? Those checkboxes over here said that you should actually ignore the prompted credits that I already have in my account. And I already have a 2,000 pounds credit on this account. So it's first finished the credit and then it finished my money. Which, by the way, my credit is also my money. It doesn't matter. It's still there. If I would just unmark them, I would be in a better position and losing only 200 pounds. Now, also this 200 pounds is also a stupid mistake. Because if this is a project for testing, I don't need to spend 200 pounds. I can lower it to 20 pounds also. I just need the budget to be closed as fast as it can when it's done. So those are the mistakes that cost me a lot of money. Luckily, it did stop because of the budget. And you might go and write in the comments, wait, but you have 2K pounds of credit, so you didn't really lose all that money. That's not correct. This was my annual budget to learning, to experience, to write new workshop, to do all the work that I'm doing in order to provide you the information and my customer the information. That was my budget, and it's all gone in a weekend without me noticing, without me actually enjoying it and learning something out of it, other than the fact that sometimes I'm an idiot. So that's for the budget. If you don't have a budget, go now and set one. And don't forget, if you have credit, to uncheck those. So that was the weekend, the expensive weekend. And now let's talk about lesson learning, what I should have done. First of all, I shouldn't be so arrogant and try to show you the most expensive way to run an open model, which I could literally run on my computer. Forget about it, not my computer. I could run it on this device. Okay, this is the Jetson Orion Nano Developer Kit. We got it on the announcement of Gemma 3. Thank you, Google. So this is like Nevada way to take Raspberry Pi and just put a GPU on it so you can do whatever you want with its beauty. So yeah, I could definitely run it on this one or on my computer or go to Hugging Face, or yeah, there's much easier solution. So that was a major mistake. The other thing that it's very important to know about GCP, that I could actually do it with this. If you want to learn something about GCP, some of the stuff are very expensive, but you can still learn how to do it. And the way to do it is to go to a website that's called Cloud Skills Boost. And in this website, you can learn, I think, everything about GCP. I spend hours in this website to learn stuff. I'm all the time going and learning there. And the advantage of it, first of all, the courses, I think all of them are for free. You only need to pay credits on the labs. And the advantage of the labs, here I'm showing you the labs of Vertex AI here on my search. If I will take, let's take, for instance, this, which labs we can take? Let's take this lab, okay? So lab costs credit, and I don't remember how much credit costs money, but I think when you firstly register it, you get 35 credits points, so you can use that. So each lab tells you in the beginning how much credit you can use, And you can already see exactly how this lab is running and what you're going to learn in this lab and which notebook you need to run, and everything is packed inside of it. I learned how to train models here, how to do a lot of very complicated and expensive stuff in those labs, and it cost me only 5 credits, which is nothing. And the main idea that you have to remember, when you're starting a lab, you have, like, for this lab, we have 2 hours. The first thing they tell you is to open it on incognito. And the reason you want to open it on incognito, because once you're starting the lab, you get a new Google ID and a password that's belong to this lab, and it will run for 2 hours. And on this account, you have credit that's enough for this lab. So you can practice without risking your credit card. So that's a brilliant way to learn. And technically, I could find a lab that is very close to what I'm doing and just run the entire session on this lab. And then once the hour or 2 hours gone, it will be gone. But I didn't do that. So that would be the smart thing to do. Other smart thing to do would probably, if I still insist of deploying it, on Paris, the day before that, we have one of those cloud announcements day also, and someone on stage show how he deploying Gemma on Cloud Run. I never done it before, and I probably should do the video about that. So the advantage of Cloud Run is that you don't holding the machine for all the time. You're just paying for the time that you're using. So once an instance getting into Cloud Run, you're paying for the amount of time of this instance running. Usually it's pretty few seconds. And then once you're done, you stop paying. So you can take a very expensive hardware and yet pay just for how much you're using it. This is why I really love Cloud Run. So that should probably be the video. But, well, as you can probably understand, I'm not going to do any of them. I paid enough for this knowledge, and I hope you learn from my mistake too. So I have some surprises for the next time. And until then, if you learn something new, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next time. Thank you.